This isn't the video I had planned for today, but can we get real for a second? Owning a business is not for the faint of heart. You will question yourself. You will lose sleep. You will wonder if it's even worth it at all, but you're not alone and you're not broken. Hey there. My name is Kimberly Ferguson, and for those of you who don't know, I own an accounting and advisory firm called the Emerald Edge. I started this channel because I wanted to be a place where small business owners could come and they could learn how to take their business from this beginning hustle, always working kind of a business to this more pleasant business that you could have work with your life instead of making it your life. But today I want to talk about the unfiltered truth of running a business. The parts that no one posts about on Instagram. I want to talk about the stress, the chaos, the self-doubt, and why it doesn't mean you're failing if you have any of these. I also want to talk about how you can keep going when quitting feels like the best and only option. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, this one's for you. So the first piece that I want to talk about is the difficult clients. The biggest thing about these clients is the emotional toll it takes on you. I want to emphasize that the customer is always right is flat out wrong. This isn't fast food. We aren't Burger King. You can't have it your way. The most important thing that we can do to help with this is setting boundaries. And this isn't just helpful, it's survival in business. If you don't want to do something, you don't have to do it. If you've decided that you're going to run your business this way, you don't have to run it this way. And there's always going to be the clients who think that you have to do it their way, no matter what you tell them, no matter how many times you communicate the way that you do things, they're still going to think that their way is how you should be doing it, even though you're the professional and they're not, even though they're hiring you because you know what you're doing and they don't, it doesn't matter. They're always going to think that they're right and the way they do it matters. Now, having boundaries and operating this way does not mean that you can have no wiggle room. It doesn't mean that you give no concessions. It just means that if somebody asks for a concession or if somebody wants you to do something another way, you have every right to say no. And here's another difficult one. No is a full sentence. You don't have to explain yourself. That's not the way we do it. That's it. But back to the emotional toll. You can try to step into the mind of the person that you're dealing with. You can try to figure out where it was you went wrong, to figure out where it was in the process that they started to feel unhappy or that they started to think that something was going wrong. But no matter how much you do this, how long you do it for, how hard you try to get into the mind of that person, it will never be enough. Okay. You will never knowledge yourself or awareness yourself or whatever you want to say it is into erasing the way it makes you feel when someone treats you poorly. Now, there's a level of building up a tougher skin that is very important in business, but that's more so that you can stand up for yourself and keep your boundaries than it is to get rid of the emotions that you feel when people treat you badly, when people step all over the processes or the business that you've worked so hard to build. And if you feel those feelings when someone treats you badly, when somebody calls you names or says you're unprofessional or that you don't know what you're doing, I just want you to know that you're normal. That's normal. You should feel bad when that happens. It's not that I want you to feel bad. It's just that that is a very normal emotion. And if you're feeling that way, it's okay. You can interview, you can filter, you can do all of the right things in the beginning when you're trying to bring on a new client to try to make sure that you can filter out the bad ones. But no matter what you do, there will always be somebody who sneaks in. There will always be somebody who made you think that they were a good client or that they would be somebody who fit into your process, and then they turn out to be untrue. There's only so much we can do. I think it's great to have that filtering process in the beginning. I think it's really great and really important to try to ask questions, to try to ascertain the kind of person that you're going to be dealing with. Because again, boundaries, any step that you can take to help limit the amount of those difficult clients that you have to deal with, I think is great. My point is just that you can't filter out everyone. You're going to eventually have somebody. Hopefully it's not that frequently. Hopefully you don't have them very often, but you will have them. It is a fact of life in business. And it is also a fact of life in general that when people treat you badly, it makes you feel bad. So my main purpose in all of this is that, yeah, there's a lot of an emotional toll that these bad clients have. And yes, we should take action to try to avoid bringing those types of people into our company and working with them. And if you have employees, making your employees work with them, right? But if you see that happening, if you feel frustrated when that happens, if it makes you feel bad when they say things about you that are untrue or that you don't think are true, then it's very normal to feel the way that you're feeling. So the next thing I want to talk about is the silent weight of being the CEO. Loneliness at the top is real. And it doesn't need to be that way. It's just that most people aren't going to understand what you feel like. Most people aren't going to understand the idea that there is no clocking out. There is no safety net. There is all this pressure that lands on your shoulders, no matter how much help you have, right? There are a few things that you can do to help with this. One of them is obviously making time for rest and time to step away from the business, preferably on a daily basis, but I know that that's difficult. Find time to step away mentally, not just physically, but we might have to start physically and then move into mentally. Make time to do that. Find good people that you can trust to handle the business when you are not there, which again is easier said than done, but very important. Make sure that you're delegating the things that you don't need to do so that you can take time to step away from the business. But all that said, there is an amount of stress, there's an amount of silent weight on you that even stepping away from the business isn't going to cure. It's never going to cure. This isn't something that can be fixed. It's something that can be minimized, limited by making all of those right decisions, by taking all of those steps. And these are the things that we talk about on this channel, right? These are the things we talk about changing in your business. You shouldn't be the bottleneck. You shouldn't be the one doing everything. You shouldn't be the one who's working 72 hours a day. I know there's only 24, but you get it. You should be the one who has the ability to step away, who has the ability to have the business run without you always having to run it, those kinds of things. So following these other steps that we talk about, those are going to help. They're going to make things so much better, but it's never going to go away. So if you're feeling this weight, this is normal. You are normal. Then the last big one that I want to talk about is when life outside of your business is falling apart. And it doesn't have to be anything as big as, divorce, illness, caregiving, a death in the family, like any of these things. But obviously those count too. But even if you're just having a really hard week, I mean, all the things we just talked about can just create a really hard week for you, right? And you still have to run your business. You don't just get to call in sick because you don't feel good, because you have a lot going on because of XYZ. This is one of the hardest things of being a business owner, is trying to make it through all of these things and then add on top of it that you have this business that you have to keep running, right? But the problem is that you're human first, you're CEO second. Those things aren't going away, right? So how do we continue running a business when everything outside feels like it's falling apart? To give you an example of this, my house is under construction again. Some of you who have been here for a while might know that a couple of years ago, my husband and I renovated this half of our house. Well, now we're at the point of renovating the other half of our house. And this time we had to get help because of a lot of things, foundation work, plumbing, electricity, really tall ceilings in our family room. We have 20-foot ceilings in our family room, which you can work with, but it's very difficult. They're tall. You probably want scaffolding, things like that. So we decided to hire some help to do that. Well, for those of you who haven't heard of, there's a term in the construction industry, which is called house envy. And that is where when you're working on one area of the house, another area starts to break down or breaks for whatever reason. So we're doing this construction. Our whole house is crazy. We have kittens that we are having to keep in one room most of the time, and they're struggling. So we're trying to spend time with them and help them through this difficult time too. Sometimes it's loud. That's very stressful for them. And then we lose our air conditioner in the middle of summer on the hottest day of the year. Literally, I think so far the hottest day that we've had all year was the day that we lost our air conditioner. We had an emergency AC person come out and they told us our compressor was out. So the good news was that our compressor was under warranty still. We were able to get it fixed, but it was a whole process. We have to pack up the kittens because they can't be here when it's 90 degrees in the house. We have to take them to a hotel. We have to find a hotel that has rules that don't stop us from taking 3 kittens into hotels. I don't know if you know this, but most hotels only want you to have 2. So we have to do all of this stuff, and our kittens don't really like to travel. So putting them in their carriers is a little tricky. They meow the whole way to the hotel. It's a whole process, right? So how do we deal with that stuff while dealing with the business, right? Because we still have to keep the business running. And again, it's the same things that we're talking about, right? We're talking about the systems, we're talking about the teams and delegating and making sure that the business doesn't revolve around you. And those things are going to help so much. It's never going to take away that feeling that you have, right? The requirement to still keep your business alive while you're having this huge struggle personally, but it's going to make it a lot better. The truth of the matter is most businesses fail. A greater majority of people who start businesses close their doors than keep them open, right? I mean, we're talking like 10, 20% of businesses survive past 10 years of being in business. And that is because of these things that I'm talking about. I mean, obviously other things too. The biggest reason is cash flow, but all of these reasons are the reasons that people don't succeed in business. They're the reasons that you shut the door. This path is hard. Just because it's hard doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It's hard for everyone, no matter what, right? There is this thing in our country, especially though in the United States, and that is we want overnight success. We want to build something that is ours, that we control, that we make look exactly the way we want to look it, right? And we want it now. And this is just our whole culture. Our whole culture is we need things now. That's why people drive like maniacs. That's why people don't like to cook homemade meals anymore. I mean, there's so many different examples, but we just have this instant gratification that happens in most of our life, that we want the same thing to happen in our business. Unfortunately, for the most part, that doesn't exist in business. We need long haul resilience as business owners, right? And that is the biggest solution to all of these problems, is being able to take one step. No matter what you're going through, no matter what your clients are doing, who's treating you badly, no matter how much the stress and the weight on your shoulders, no matter what's going on outside of your business, you have to have resilience. And one of the reasons that people close their doors is because they stopped too soon. They gave up too soon. Now, if you're watching this and you once upon a time had a business and you no longer do, this is not a scolding moment. This is not me saying, you're wrong, you should have done better. This is me saying that whatever your expectation is of how quickly your business should succeed, the reality is it's going to be longer. So if you are currently building your business, if you've been in business for 5 years, if you've been in business for 10 years, whatever it looks like, it's going to take more time than you ever expected. And it's going to be harder than you ever expected. And just because it's taking longer and it's harder, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're moving forward, right? Feeling overwhelmed doesn't mean you're failing. Struggling doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're in the arena, doing the work. And to me, I think that's bravery. You don't have to have it all figured out today. You just have to keep moving, one itty bitty teeny tiny step at a time. Because answers come through action, not perfection. And if you need some help sorting through the fog, my team and I are here. You don't have to go this alone. So whether we can support you through these free videos that we offer on YouTube, or if we need to help you a little bit more one-on-one, either way, I'm happy, but I want to be here to support you in your business as you continue to grow and turn it into something that you feel proud of, if you don't already, that fits with your life instead of runs your life, that you feel happy with, that you think is offering a good product or service to the world, all of the things, right? We want to make sure that whole picture of your business looks really great for you, right? And if I can help you do that one way or the other, I feel better about me and my business too, right? Well, thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day with me today. I hope you didn't mind this slightly different format, and hopefully it gave you a little bit of grace for yourself in knowing that the things that you're struggling with, we're all struggling with too. So it might feel like you're alone, but you're definitely not. I hope to see you in my next video, and I hope you have a great day.